Okay, so I've been using this MP3 player for about a week now, and there's some things that stand out. Now, the first one I have to comment on is the fact that I love this screensaver that makes it appear as a cassette player, okay? I mean, it's very thin, so there's an illusion there, and if you touch it, it will go back to a normal MP3 player with normal type things, but it does go back to the screensaver of the cassette. And one thing that people haven't talked about is the fact that when you pause this, like if you hit pause right here, okay, when you pause it, it actually stops the cassette screensaver, and it actually makes a little sound kind of like a cassette player when you hit pause. Like, you know, if you hit pause on a tape player, it makes like a rip kind of noise. It kind of does that. Very little, very subtle, but it is in there. It sounds like you're actually using a cassette player. It kind of gives you that illusion. And of course, this screensaver thing can be turned off if you wanted to. And it does have different screensavers for different quality of MP3s. Like this particular one is a FLAC file, so this is a more high-end file. And if you do flip it to, like, let's go to a different one here, that is a FLAC 48 24-bit file, okay? But if you go to something like a little less high definition, like let's see this 9 Inch Nails one here, this one here is a FLAC 44, okay? But you can see it is a little bit lower in resolution, and it actually gives you a different type of cassette to signify that it's a little bit lower resolution. It still sounds great. It's still better than your average MP3, but it actually goes and it shows a different cassette for different types of formats, for different quality of CDs. And let's try this one here. We'll see what happens here with Jesus Jones, okay? All right, that's the same one, okay? Same kind of medium quality. I guess if you go down to the lowest quality, which I don't even know if I have anything super low on here, we got Def Leppard, Michael Jackson. That is like a super high good one. That was actually a DSD file. Let's see here. Maybe this Faith No More. Oh no, that's the same one. Okay. Well, you get the idea. It changes pictures with the quality of the music. Okay, so from the main menu, if you hit the Walkman icon right here, that takes you to kind of like the Walkman interface. And from there, you have a lot of choices of how you can actually pull up songs, either by artist, by release year. You can make playlists. Oh yes, you can. Album, folders, favorites, and newest to oldest of actually how quickly you put them onto your player, okay? But there's more. If you slide, there's even more here. You have choice of viewing high-res, USB DAC, cue sheets, by genre or composer. But if you hit high-res, this actually shows the quality of the MP3s. And of course, we showed you high-res CD quality. If you hit this compressed, I only have like a couple of things compressed on here. Let's see what I have. We have Blur, okay, and Beetle Bum and Song 2. Okay, and so if you play a more compressed file, like more of a standard MP3, and this was a FLAC file, I do believe, you'll see it actually does play a different looking screensaver. And again, this cassette screensaver is completely optional, but you know, it's really fun, and it actually gets a lot of looks too. People see that and they're like, is that a cassette player? Like, it almost fools you into believing that it really is a cassette in there, like some kind of weird micro cassette or something. And the fact that the buttons are on the spine here, this is just like Walkmans of the past, where it actually has play, fast forward, all that kind of thing on the spine. This one is the black model. I guess in the blue model, or one of the colored models, maybe it stands out more. I do kind of wish these buttons, you can kind of see how it's, I don't have a lot of lighting here so you can see the screen, but I wish these buttons were a different color, maybe silver or some other color, so they'd stand out a little bit more. Because if you are using this like in the dark or something, they're not backlit, so you really can't see. Backlighting to these buttons may be another thing, which I honestly would pay for. But it's really nice the fact that it has that feature. On the side here, it does have all your standard, you know, play, fast forward, rewind, volume up, volume down. It does have this lock button here too. This last one here is a lock. So you can actually lock the screen, and you can lock the music volume too, which is important because if you're like on a scooter or a bicycle or running or jogging or something, on most MP3 players, it's pretty easy to accidentally actually like fast forward the song or mute it or something. So I like the fact there is a lock, you know. The case itself is beautiful, you know, very definitely rugged. It feels very quality. It's heavy. Got the Walkman logo. The top here, no spots for water to get in. The bottom here, there is a regular jack, so you can actually plug in a headphone jack right there, okay? So that's good. And then it does have a place for a memory card. Although for right now, at least for purposes of testing, I'm not putting a card into it just yet. I'm actually just trying it with music, which is on here. Now, I did take one of my standard cards, which have FLAC files. It's like, you know, a whole bunch of gigs of FLAC music. And I have tried putting it in here. But one thing I I noticed it didn't easily identify the file, so you might have to do a first formatting before you actually put the music on it. I've been transferring things to this via cable from PC. And I have used the Tidal service too, which I'll show you, which if you're looking for a music service, you can get some free time, a couple free months. And that is really easy too, because this actually is, a regular Android, like an Android phone without the phone essentially. So you can just hit that and you can download apps from the Google Play Store and pretty much anything you want. And then here you can see there's some different, MP3s I've been testing, various genres, new and old, to kind of see how this plays, But Tidal is a really good thing because they do have these Masterworks, which are super high-end quality MP3s, and it's a great way of testing the system to kind of see what there is. And just keep track of your favorites and what you played the most of, and it has playlists and from celebrities and all sorts of good stuff. But anyway, if you want that off, it's really easy. Just go back to this, you hit the Walkman icon, and then from there it actually goes back to your player, Is a thing for favorites. I mean, there's so many features with this. It's pretty amazing, tell you the truth. If we go back to the icon here, we'll take this back and take a look at the menu system. And you can see that's basically the choices for organizing the music. But there's all sorts of things here, other settings you can see. You can select what you want to display. You can do custom settings. Like, you can really make this yours, And for me, for right now, I'm still in love with the novelty of having the cassette player background. I really do like that a lot. But I can see, like, in time, maybe I might get bored of it or something, and then you can actually pick something else to, have in there. It does play the photos, like the artwork. Everything looks beautiful. It's, for being a small player, it is really nice. It's bigger than a Zune, smaller than an iPod, This is Sony's, newer but small, the smallest unit essentially, which is really good for backpacks and things, and probably airline travel and everything else. But so far, definitely I'm digging that big time. As far as playlists and things, you can easily customize this and make playlists pretty much on the fly, which I really liked. If you hit one of the icons here, let me see here, you can hit this, I believe, and then you can add it to playlists. You add to playlist, or you can search, but you can actually just make a playlist on the fly really quickly here, and you can create a new playlist. Or there's one I have is Alt Nation of 2000s. I listen to a lot of Sirius satellite radio. So anyway, very cool stuff. Now, when you turn the clear audio off, it does allow other options. So you can see now we can actually swipe, and you can see other options. This one here is a vinyl processor, and basically what that does, it kind of creates a warm sound where it actually makes your MP3s kind of sound like vinyl, and it's very, very subtle. But I could have sworn at one point I heard like a little record pop or something, So don't quote me on that one, but maybe it's psychological or something. But it really gave me the impression it makes you feel like you're listening to a vinyl record. So it turns your MP3s, your cold digital MP3s, ones and zeros, into a warm vinyl recording, which is pretty amazing. And this isn't just like some kind of weird gadget of the month or whatever. Like, it really works. Like, you have to listen to it to really appreciate it. But I was very impressed with the fact that it really gave me the vibe that I was listening to vinyl. Now, when you flip it more here, you see there's a normalizer. So that takes the volume of all your MP3s and kind of makes them so you won't be one volume for one song, another volume for another song. Typically, I always leave that off, They have a DC phase. Okay, so basically this helps low frequencies and makes them more of a traditional analog amplifier. So it kind of takes your music, again, from like a digital aspect, and kind of gives it like an analog amplifier feel. If you ever use like a tube amp, like a Fender tube amp, I had a Bassman tube amp, and it had a beautiful sound, and that was because it was a tube amp. Other amplifiers don't give you the same, wonderful, warm, open feeling that you got with a like classic Fender or like a Macintosh tube amplifier, that kind of thing. And this helps create the simulation of that. And it does it really effectively too. It also has this one here, okay, and this is the DSEE Ultimate, okay, which helps reproduce the frequency of the dynamic range of the original source code, okay, using advanced AI technology. Ooh, like I want AI in my music, maybe. And then here's EQ, and this is like your typical EQ. It's a 10-band EQ, and you can adjust these lines yourself. And there is an option here so you can go through, things, different types of things like bright, excited, mellow, relaxed, vocal, custom 1, custom 2. So it gives you several different options, and you can actually save 2 different custom EQs if you want to use it for 2 different people, or one for like rock, one for like, you know, rap or classic or something, or whatever you listen to, you know, 2 different music genres, you know. But really cool. I mean, great sounding EQ. Typically I would leave this on custom, but you could definitely check it out and kind of see how it works for you. Let's go ahead and we'll just click OK there, and then there's a clear audio, kind of goes back to that. So those are your basic digital processing, which is really good. Now, at least up until this point, I've really used this with wired headphones. I've used both in-ear monitors, which is typically I use the Surfans in-ear monitors, which there will be a link down below for, so you can check it out. It felt very bright without being too tinny. I really enjoyed the sound of the Surfans in-ear monitors with this unit. It definitely seems to be very loud. Like, it definitely is great. It goes up to 120 as far as the volume goes, so you can actually, you know, like a lot of MP3 players, it kind of defaults back to 50, and there might be a way of changing the setting on this. I noticed that when you power it down, it goes down to 50 or whatever, which is kind of low, I think, to be honest with you. So I might want to try in the future, find a way of setting it so it defaults higher, because I tend to listen to it somewhere between, you know, 110 and 120. I listen to my music loud, you know, so I do like it to be, I like it loud. So having it down to 50 makes me feel like a lot of unnecessary button pressing, and I guess that would be one negative, but the sound quality is excellent. Now, while I can't play music, you know, it's commercially licensed, copyrighted music, I can talk about a little bit. So I just want to talk about a few test songs. Like, I tend to put certain songs on, you know, different MP3 players to actually test the way they sound. Oasis is one of them, which I do use a lot. Supersonic at the very beginning has some great drums that, you know, a really good low without being artificial or like bassy or rappy or whatever. Just really good low drum sound, which actually is good for testing the dynamic range and seeing how, you know, it sounds both from a low point and the hi-hats as far as a high bright sound, you know. But I really like Supersonic is a testing song that is a really good version too. It's definitely maybe a digital deluxe version. It's kind of a redone version of it and remastered. You Can Be Mine, Guns N' Roses. I wanted to test some rock, so I listened to this. I thought it was good. It did sound bright. I think it was a little more muddy than I wanted. It sounded good, but I was hoping for even a little bit more. So maybe there's even a better way of mastering that. Just keep going back to the screen saver. You can see that is one of the better you know, versions, and there is actually a higher quality than what you're seeing here even. Which they give you a few MP3s of super high quality. Like, here's one here. The Snowflake is not something I listen to regularly, but it came with the player. And that one there, you can see, oh, that is the same metallic. Okay, let's keep going here. Michael Jackson, FLAC file. This is a 88.2. Very good file. The whole album sounds amazing. I'm not like a huge Michael Jackson fan, but these songs, you know them, you love them, you've heard them a million times. It's music that you know how it should sound, and that way you can really judge how it sounds on this player, you know. And with HD music, I really love to hear little things which I haven't heard before, and I was hearing that actually. So it definitely is a good time to check out like your classics, you know, things you've listened to 1,000 times, and then listen to them on here and see what they sound like. Churches is really good synth, you know, modern alternative music. They sound fantastic on here. Warm. The keyboards surround you. It's just, it sounds really, really good. I'd highly recommend them. If you don't know Churches, check them out. Silver Sun Pickups, another one of my favorites. Checked out a few different songs by them through their catalog, which is really good. The new one from Paramore, This Is Why, from last year. Really good song. Definitely a bright, poppy, happy rock alternative song. Sounds fantastic on this player. Going through, let's check out a couple more. Another Churches song, He Said, She Said. Longview Green Day, like that's a good kind of classic 90s all rock song. And it also has some really good drums and things in it, which really help test the sound quality of the MP3 player. And I thought this sounded fantastic. Definitely, it made me feel like I was listening to it for the first time, hearing new things I never heard before. And this, you know, album, you know, Green Day, long, like basket case, Dookie, their album is, how old is that now? It's like, what, 30 years old or something? It's pretty old, you know. Same with Michael Jackson, just great quality recording, definitely good stuff. I think this is one of the ones which is a higher quality. Yeah, check this out. This is the Metal Master screensaver. So that is like the highest quality that I've achieved on here so far, and I think that's the highest screensaver quality that they show. But really interesting how it has that metal master look to it. And I remember back in the day I would buy more expensive cassettes to check out like how would it sound if I recorded that on a better cassette. It was always interesting the effects you'd get. The Police, this one I was a little disappointed with. This is the SACD FLAC file of Every Breath You Take. It sounded a little bit low in volume, I thought. It definitely sounded good, but just a little low in the volume. Like maybe they recorded it a little bit lower or something. It could be a problem with the master. I listened to both on Tidal and both through my personal FLAC file, and the player sounded great. I mean, the player did the best it could do with it, but really your player is only as good as the actual source material you're trying to play. So it's really important to have good MP3s. My car MP3 player does not play FLAC, my Corvette. So those are like high quality, like 320 MP3s. But on here, I like to have nothing but FLAC. Okay, so I want the best quality, FLAC or better. And I like to have the best quality MP3s so I can really, catch those little cool things that make HD music so special. Okay, well, I'm sure I'll make some more videos on this, and if you guys have any particular questions about playback, of how it sounds or how it works or any features, let me know in the comments below. And also, if you have a favorite pair of headphones, I'd be very curious. I've had some interesting comments about like Pioneer headphones being better than my Alienware headphones, etc., etc. Or no, it was Philips. It was Philips. One viewer mentioned the like $76 Philips he thought was better than my $400 Alienware headphones, which I do like my Alienware headphones for music, actually, and I will have a link for that down below as well, too. It's one of their older ones, but it's like a really nice pair of Alienware headphones, which is great for gaming music and more. But I'm probably looking at picking up another headphones for review at some point. Again, I do like corded headphones when it comes to HD music, okay? But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I love this player. I'm going to keep testing it and checking out the different features, and I'm sure I'll have some more videos, including some comparisons of this to the Surfans, and this to the other players, the Ritsu and other players I use, to see, is it really worth the money? Is it worth the difference in cost compared to a like Surfans F20 or Surfans F35, and we'll talk more about that in another video. But so far, I'm definitely enjoying this a lot. It's a great little player. Highly recommend it. If you got the means, the money to buy one, I'd say buy one and check it out. You will not be disappointed, okay? All right, friends, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.